Hello plant friends, my name is Victoria and you're watching Plantastics. Today I've got a real treat for you. It's about time for spooky season and I figured I'd show you all the cool things that I've got set up for Halloween. So roll the intro and let's get started. Okay, hello, we are in my office right now and I'm just going to show you the plants and I'm going to go basically room by room. I'm also going to be talking about some of the products that I use that you can find on Amazon, like the wicking pots, as well as what my grow lights are, and I'm going to have all those linked down below. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, it's at no additional cost to you. You can also just keep watching and support my channel that way. Okay, so here is, I can't say it, but it starts with a T. And it is just beautiful. It was a single teeny tiny cutting. So I have this wreath that I got from Michael's, and my goal is to get them to grow up and around it to where it just looks like it's a moon. We've got a little ways to go until that happens. It's gonna be a couple updates from now. This is one of my apothecary containers. Most of my apothecary containers either were given to me as gifts or I found them at Home Goods. I'm going to have some of those linked below. So this here, so I have a friend that hybridizes begonias and he gave me this one, which is called Confetti Yeti. And it has these huge silver leaves. And then this is my Darth Vaderina hybrid. And I do sell cuttings occasionally, so there's a lot of us that do, so you could get your hands on one pretty easily for like way less than you could initially like a year ago. Okay, so this beauty right here that is in desperate need of a repot is a Stromanthe trio star. So most of them you'll see in people's collections are quite small, and this is just what a mature one looks like. So this thing is huge, and I'm going to repot it and separate it and sell or trade the other piece to someone simply because it's so large. But it's done really well in here. And then we have this beautiful air plant. And I just set it here and I water it by putting it in my fish tank. And that has worked out really well for me. We got lots of little curls. They're beautiful plants. When you water them, you hang them upside down. And that's why it stays up here. Because whenever I do water it, it goes upside down, and after a day or two, or whenever I remember, I just turn it over. And it seems to really like it over there. So here are, so we can kind of like zoom out. Let me turn on this light. Here are my orchids and hoyas, and soon African violets. I ordered some from Linden Lion. So this is Hoya Sumatra, and it has these really cute fuzzy leaves, and I've kind of just makeshifted trellises. I had some really great wire and I don't know what I did with it because I like to make my own. I'll show you one. It's in my office. So these are my miniature orchids. So here are some of their names. There's one, if it'll focus. Sidaria japonica. And this is a miniature. It will have white flowers. And then I've lost the tags for some of them. This one is not a miniature. It is a Schlafleriana, I believe. And it will get pretty large, and they have very fragrant blooms. Here is my Hoya imbricata, and it's got two nice growth points on the bottom. And then I've got some spikes. I got this one here that's got 3-4 spikes, and it's going to have yellow flowers. And then I have this one. I've had this one bloom for me before. And it has a pup. If you look really closely where my thumb is, that right there is a spike. So it's happy in here. And I've gotten that one to bloom before. This is the best way I have found to keep them. because if I don't have them in something that retains moisture, they just dry out too quickly and really don't like that. So this one is really cool. I love the patterns on the leaves. It is just so unreal, and its name escapes me. So it is Callistophylla. And all of these Hoyas were just single leaf cuttings, and they've grown with me. It's taken them a little bit, but after they kind of got established, they took off. This is one of my Hoyas. I love this one so much. I have multiple pots of it, and it's also growing in my vivarium. Here is Snow Egret, and it's really funny because it's like one plant, but it has like a ton of suckers, and I just haven't gotten around to removing them. But this one's different compared to other violets because it has like long oblong leaves, like they're long like an oval or like kind of like a teardrop, whereas most African violets have more broad leaves. And that one will have, oh, it's Sneks Snowy Egret, so you know. This is one of my begonias. This is, I think, one of my Torch Begonias. And I am growing it and trying to train it to where it's like a tree. So it's going to be this long stem and then a bunch of growths coming out. Here is Zara. She made it. So I've had Zara for a really long time. It was a self-cross, and I purchased it as a seed. And it's taken me a very long time to grow it. I grew it out. It was really large. I had a really large leaf. And then it started wilting. I watered it, and it continued to wilt. So I knew there was a root issue. And I took it, cut off all the dead growth, and I put it in here, and it has made it. It's going to be okay. So it's got 3 different growth points there, which is kind of cool. So I might have 3 separate plants. Okay, so the lights that are used, since I've shown you everything that's over here, and these plants have been here, so these are sufficient. So this is a GE flower bulb, par 38. Here is a GE, the middle size bulb. I'll put the name on the screen. And then this one up here is the smallest bulb they have. So at this time and present, we have 3 different size bulbs. So that's what I use. And then I also have Zebrina lights, and these are just the under cabinet lights. Okay, so we are here now, and this is my vivarium. This is where my Crested Gecko Chevron / Gremlin lives, and my fiance calls him Godzilla. He was really small when we got him, and now he's like pretty large. You can see him right here. I'm not going to wake him up. So this is a really nice setup that I did, and it's nice because it missed itself. So before, I had snails living in here, and no, I didn't put them in here intentionally. They came with some plant. All my orchids were in here, so they were happy. I had them even blooming in here, and the snails love orchids, so they started to eat them, and that's when they had to be in a separate enclosure. So you can see I have Hoyas. You can see I've got some flowers back in there, and he does eat the nectar. It's really cute. It's like Peduncle City. You can not really see, maybe you can. There's a peduncle. And I'm sure y'all know this, but I just learned that the peduncles can flower multiple times, because this one right here that you can see, it has flowered for me more than 5 times. And it's just in that same spot where the flowers come. So here's his food and water. And I've got all the plants and stuff kind of trained, and I just kind of loop them around, and he likes to hide in there. But there's no plant that he loves more than the Hoyas. He loves to put his little head on there because they're so soft, I guess. But yeah, I have as many Hoyas as I can fit in there. And I'm redoing and remaking a second enclosure, and this one will be retired or donated to someone, and I'll be starting over and trying to add as many Hoyas as possible. So we have more Hoyas here. We have Hoya Kerri, which was a single leaf one like you see around Valentine's Day. I did see that there was a shoot of growth, so I knew that it actually had a node. Because sometimes they will grow roots, but they will never grow leaves because there's no node. And then here's my Hoya Australis Lisa. Here is my Hoya Macryphylla, outer variegated. And this light is okay, but they really need more light. Here are my Begonia Amphioxus ones. And it's kind of foggy in there, but you can kind of see there's two plants. And then I have a little skeleton in the middle. And then here is my Rex Terrarium, which has been great. I set it up 2 years ago and haven't really added or taken anything out. So it's doing pretty well. For my lights up here, I have a GE Par 38. And then I also have this. It's a terrarium light. And it is by the brand. I'll put the name of this terrarium light on the screen. It's really great if you have vivariums or just fish tanks, because if you have like tree frogs or anything like that, it makes it pop. Now I have a ceramic heat emitter as well, and it is set to a thermostat of 70 degrees. So in the winter, he'll go here, and sometimes when our AC gets really cold, he'll get right here. And then this Zebrina is just something I made before they made their own standing lights. And it is concrete, a piece of a corner here. And I just used the command strips on the back to secure it. And it is 2 of the longer under cabinet lights. Okay, so over here is my whiteboard. And I created the stand myself. It has wheels, so if I need to write something down or demonstrate something, I can just roll it out of the way. So this right here is an 8-year-old pothos, and it's on a trellis that I got from Home Depot, and it's just taking it up. But yeah, if you want some cheap trellises, Home Depot has them. This is my oldest plant. I think I got this in 2016 or 2017. It was one of the first plants that I ever purchased, and it's a Philodendron Brasil. And then over here, you can see the kind of trellises I make. So I just take wire and I bend it, and then I put little crystals on there. This is probably my second oldest plant. It is the Heartleaf Philodendron. These do incredibly well, and they grow. I've never had issues with them, and that's why they're so old, is because they're just so amazing and resilient. So up here, I have a Zebrina grow light. They came out with their own, and as you can see, kind of like this is definitely way more white than those. There is a bit of a pink tint, so if you don't want to pay a ton of money for a white base light, you can buy that one. However, if you want more flowers, you can use the GE Par 38. Okay, here is, the Tower of Pisa. It's happy. It's just like it's been moved so much and knocked over that it's not straight anymore. So here is another one of my displays. And every month or two, I will just go in and I will vacuum and wipe everything down, and I'll just move everything around. So here is one of my plants, and I just have it in a cauldron here. And this one's really fun and really pretty. It's kind of got a bald spot in there, but it'll fill back out. I'm going to take cuttings and put them back in the middle. Here is my Xanthsoma Lindinii, and it was just one tiny plant, and now it's pretty large. This is my Begonia Venosa, and it's kind of fuzzy, but nowhere near as fuzzy as my tomentosa. Here is one of my vining plants, and it dried out too much, so it looks a little sparse. This is Peperomia Napoli Nights. If we go up here, We have my orchid Phalaenopsis. We have this one sounds like it's Eskimo Hoya. It's something similar to that, but I'll put the names on there. And then here is my variegated Hoya Wayetii. And I wanted it to look like he was just like bathing in a seashell with Hoyas. So I tried to have like witty, like fun and entertaining flower pots. This is a candle holder, and when I had my string of hearts and it was super small, it looked really cute in there. Here are two of my violets. Here is Jolly Mel, and you can see this one's honestly a little over potted, but I don't have a smaller watering pot, so I've just been letting it dry out. And then this beauty right here, I've lost the tag to, but look how pretty. And this is a mini, and I think that this one's a little bit smaller, but it also could be a mini. I can't remember. So here is the next tier. So I have a video that I'm going to link here on how I built this. This is a dry terrarium. It is really cute, and then you can just get these little tiny pieces from Michael's. Like this is a cauldron, and you can just change it for the seasons. But I wouldn't get it wet because everything in there is kind of like not great. So here is Hoya obovata, and it's got these huge large leaves, and I'm trying to grow it out so that way I can put it in the vivarium, because I'm pretty sure Gremlin could fit on these leaves. They look pretty large. Here is my beautiful Begonia Lyali, and I have this cute little spooky man sitting on his pillow, but you can see this one's really pretty. And it's like, begonias are so cool because there's so many different kinds, you know? Okay, next up, this is my Maranta. I know most people kill theirs, but as you can see, this one is great. It's doing dandy. It's got so many flowers, and it's also very, very large. So what I do with these, if you cut them and put them in the soil, they don't root. So what I do is I take floral pins and I kind of fold them back when they get to a certain length. And that's how I keep the middle from just being bald. See, it's like one large full pot. So that's a trick. Here is, so I've got Maranta Lime, I've got Maranta Red, and then this one is like, it was called the silver or the black, I really don't know. I originally bought this and it was a huge pot about this size, and I quarantined it for a month, and then I went to pot it and basically bring it inside, and I realized that they had mealybugs. So I didn't know this, but these are the perfect hiding spot for mealybugs, because what they do is they hide in between these little sheaths and you can't see them. But so what I did with it is I cut it back all the way down to the soil, and I lost a lot of it, and then I just put it in a bag and waited until it kind of grew back, and then I moved it out here. So I went through all the sheaths when I had cut it back all the way down, and I think I sprayed it or put some neem oil on it or something, but I really just went in with tweezers. After I cut it down to the ground, I went in with some really teeny tiny, like needle-sized tweezers, and I pulled out every single mealybug I could find, and then I waited 2 weeks with it being in a bag, and then I searched again, and I just continued doing that until I just stopped seeing them anymore. So now we're good. And that was like 3 or 4 months ago, so there aren't any on there, but I waited a really long time and was like super thorough. So here is one of my favorites. It is Begonia My Special Angel, and we've got another little cute little skeleton there. I love begonias that are angel wings that have points on both ends. That's my special angel that has 2 points, and then also Begonia Amorpheus. So to talk about the grow lights we have here, I have the Zebrina under cabinet lights, and you can kind of see that like this isn't living, so it doesn't need light, and this gets light from both of these and then these as well, so it's enough. And it's really great if you have an only violets shelving unit, because some violets like less light than others, so you can kind of position them to where like here you have a good bit of space directly underneath where you could put like one of the Russian hybrids, because I overlight them, if that makes sense. Like I give them way too much light. And then I have 2 of my GE grow lights, and these are the medium-sized ones, and they are great. And you can see I have 3 of them. Okay, so I've got some more skeletons. So this corner is all underneath a single grow light, is the Par 38, and everybody's doing great. You can see this actually bent, and I've never seen a ZZ plant wilt, but it wilted, and then I watered it, and then it perked back up. So now it's got this like hook, and I've just left it like that. So this little baby here needs a bit more light back here, and honestly it needs to be repotted. So this is Begonia Looking Glass, and it has these beautiful silvery leaves. And then I have Begonia Maculata. I have this Tillandsia, and it's just, Tillandsias are great. If you're not good with Calatheas, you can really shine with a Tillandsia. And it's literally in this tiny little pot, y'all. It's going to make you laugh. You got all that in this. And they're pretty tolerant, so they will grow taller when they need a little bit more light. So I'm probably going to add 2 more Zebrina lights on either side of these that are just further down, so everybody can be a little bit more symmetrical. Here is the Philodendron Brasil, and like I said, when I love a plant, I have more than one. And these are just the cuttings that I took from the one inside. And then I also have some of the Heartleaf. So there's both in this pot. This right here was a rehab, and it needs TLC because this beautiful, lovely plant has outgrown its moss pole, and you can see that the light has kind of been a little too strong on some of the parts of the leaves. The best light for these vine plants, if you're going to do moss poles, are the standing lights, and I'm going to show you those in just a second. Okay, so here is my living wall, and this has a ton of lights. I'm not going to go through every single one on this wall. I will link you to a video where I talk to you and tell you the names of all the anthuriums on this wall. Most, if not all but 2 or 3. So 1, 2, 3. These 4. Everybody else was either grown from seed or grown from a chunk, and they have definitely grown a lot. So I've got everything from Miltoniopsis orchids, which is what this is here, to anthuriums, to just anything and everything that does well on this wall. The only begonia that is either a Rex or rhizomatic is Black Mamba. All the other begonias that are not cane begonias have died. So that's what happened there. This was my greatest just lottery winning moment. So this was a seed grown anthurium, and I had 4 seeds, and I sold one to somebody, and they're like, "Oh my God, thank you so much for sending me a variegated anthurium. I was just so shocked. That was such a great deal. Thank you so much, 5 stars, whatever." And they were going on. And I was like, "What do you mean? Can you send me a picture?" And shortly after she sent me that photo of hers, mine started sending out variegation. So it took like, I want to say 6 months after I grew them from seed. But they divide easily. So this is just, this right here, I haven't seen a lot of this pattern in people's collections. You see more solid white. And I get it, like those are more expensive and more showy. But like from growing this from seed, like a win is a win, you know? So while we're down here, we have Sophie Cecile, and it's a begonia. And then we have Begonia, she's kind of turned around. Then we have Begonia tomentosa, and she gets really, really tall, and then I chop it up, and then I put it back in the soil, so that's why it's so full. And then we also have Maurice Amy. We also have right here my Micans, and then my giant peace lily. So I've got all kinds of things on here. And I just want to point out some highlights. So this is my next batch of seeds. And they're starting to look a little bit more mature. They were half known, half mystery. So I know half of the cross and I don't know the other half. And then down here, this one's just, oh my God, this one's so beautiful. And I know the full cross of this one. It is the Crystal Lux crossed with Antigua. And it's not a true Antigua Anthurium. It is like a description of another Anthurium name, and they didn't really know which Antigua it was. I think they said it was like a crystallinum, but like, isn't that beautiful? I love growing from seeds because I like the excitement and not knowing what it's going to be. And this is my Anthurium Silver Peru. It was a node, and for the longest time it just had one leaf. And I just cut it off. I was like, I want to see if it'll grow more leaves. And it did. It has that one right there. Here is some more Hoya. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is Doriaki. And then I've got a silver blush here. So I was going to do a video basically describing the difference. This has been the fastest seedling I've ever had. It was a single seed, and now it is just going gangbusters. I cut off a lot of the leaves because they just weren't pretty. And it also grew some plants, so they found new homes on eBay. This is the Papillinum Anthurium Indonesian form, so it'll be really dark. The leaves start off this beautiful little coppery color, and then as they harden off, they turn different colors. This is my Regal, and as you can see, it's kind of struggling. It really needs a little bit more than ambient humidity. Here's my Basei, and you can see it has its inflow. This is my Villiaurium. I just call them Villi. And then here is my Radicans, and people said they grow really slow. Oh, this one is my Luxuriance, and people say they grow really slow, but I've had pretty good success with it. And then here is a crystallinum. Everybody needs water pretty badly, so after this video I'm going to water everybody. And then here's my Radicans Luxuriance cross. If you want a beginner Anthurium, you're gonna be very happy with this one. This is the best fern in the world. It is the rabbit foot fern because it looks like it has little rabbit feet. So you can see that this wall is not soaking wet. Nothing sits in water. Everything drains down, which means everything has to be watered once a week. I also have a ton of other orchids that are not Miltoniopsis. Like I have my Cattleyas, and you want your Cattleyas to be kind of like you want to get them to so much light that they kind of look a little lighter color. You don't want them to have dark green leaves. That's what a grower told me, because he's like, that means they're not getting enough light. But I have spikes. Like I have a spike there, that thing right there, that's a spike. Here is another spike. So I've got really great blooms. All of them were blooming at one time in the middle of June, and that was an amazing sight and scent because the Miltoniopsis I have are really scented. Here is my lipstick plant. I've had it and it's never bloomed before, and it's got a bloom right now. And it just trails down. It looks so pretty. And then this is my Medusa. He just looks silly. So that is the living wall. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my home tour. Are you going to use any of these ideas? Would you ever make a living wall? If I reach 5,000 subscribers, I'll post exactly how I built it. So be sure to get your friends to subscribe and share this video with them. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll be seeing you next time. Goodbye.